Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans Review this evening. We'll just double check that the sound is okay on this. It seems to be fine. Yeah, it's all good. All good in the hood. There's a lot of people in the comments already this evening. And there's a few things I want to talk about. One's obviously the player that's been linked to Newcastle once again. I'm going to read the article that gives the pros and cons of Nico Kuhn as a player. And I think you might like this just ever so slightly. In Stoke City, the player that Celtic have been linked with from Stoke City, someone has said that the Stoke should be asking for at least £8 million for the player. And I'm thinking £8 million for a player that's only scored a couple of goals as a winger. 4 goals and 4 assists all season. That's quite a lot of money for not a lot of end product. Because even Adam Ida scored more goals than that over the season, and £8 million's a bit much. So it got me thinking of a poll question: how much money do you think Celtic need to spend this summer? First option is nothing. The squad is fine, which has had no votes. 10 million has got 3% votes so far. 20 million has got 58%. And then the last option, the fourth option that YouTube can give you is depends on the players that we sell, and that's got 36%. So with that being said, let's dive into this article about Nico Kuhn. Let's dive into the article about Nico Kuhn, because you'll find it highly amusing, I'm sure. Why Nicholas Kuhn could be Newcastle's next right winger, it goes on to say. It's a scout report. It's a scout report on the Celtic Star. So it gives you an overview of the player, first of all. Nicholas Kuhn is a 25-year-old right winger who plays for Celtic. He's had a brilliant youth career, playing for multiple clubs, including RB Leipzig, Bayern Munich and Ajax. He also played regularly for the German youth teams from under 15 to under 20, but he didn't manage to break through at Leipzig, Bayern Munich or Ajax. Some scout report this. And this season's in all competition, he scored 18 times and he's had 14 assists in 45 matches, providing a goal contribution every 92 minutes, which is incredible numbers. Having watched several of his games this season, I have come to the following conclusions. Out of possession, the pros and cons. Out of possession, Nico Kuhn shows brilliant signs. He shows a great tendency to track back. He will help out and do the dirty work, show willingness to support the full back and to create 2 versus 1 to help avoid any overload. He isn't afraid to get stuck in duels, and he's shown very impressive physical levels. What games was this guy watching? He showed very impressive physical levels. Despite the small stature, he completes well in aerial duels. His aerial numbers aren't great. You're contradicting yourself then. But he will always compete and bring a positive result, which is important. Positioning when blocking is also good. He often tries to block passing a lane and maintain good distance to allow greater success when intercepting. I've just got to go into the comments before I read this any further. Yeah. Chill Pill says he managed to catch a live at last. There's something to think about Newcastle are ambitious. And then there's the sign of Dudley Kuhn. Anyway, we'll go into this. The guy needs to go to Specsavers. Lorna, I was just thinking the same, and it gets better. Stephen Johnson's just entered the house. It does get better. Let me just go back to this Nico Kuhn. Out of possession, Kuhn shows brilliant signs. He shows great tendencies to track back. Alright, let's go down. Pressing pros. He has a good eye for triggers. He notices little things. He's fair enough. He's got some. He's been on the back of some good balls this season. His position well. He knows his role, and he knows he's the main man making a press. Wow. And he knows where to stand. He can anticipate loose balls quickly. He's also very quick to react and shows great mentality and focus and concentration when out of possession. That's the same Nico Kuhn that we've been watching all season. 1v1 pros. Now this is a good one because we all know that Nico Kuhn can sometimes get past a player and sometimes can't get past a player. He's very comfortable in receiving on his right foot, which allows him to maximise his angles. In 1v1s, he can shift his body quickly to manipulate his opponent and often will make his body look to go inside and then quickly burst past on the outside. Oh, Jesus. The 1v1 cons. When he receives the ball, his run sometimes lacks body movement. I think he got ChatGPT to write this. I actually think he got ChatGPT to write this because he's contradicting himself there. He's just said that he can quickly shift his body to manipulate the opponent. And then on the 1v1 cons, he says when he receives the ball, he can sometimes lack body movement to fool his man. This is ChatGPT written, isn't it? As often the case, he tries to cut inside, sometimes lacks good body manipulation, can struggle to fake the outside and then go inside. He also sometimes wants to cut inside. This is written by ChatGPT. It's fucking nonsense. This is written by AI. You can tell. It's absolutely gobbledygook. Anyway, we'll go on to the pass selection pros for Nico Kuhn, according to this scout report for Newcastle United. When the fullback is overlapping, he's very aware of it and will nearly always find his teammate and flicks up link play. He likes to square up his man and create separation and also maximise his passing angles, which allows him greater success in his selection. Holy moly. Oh. Pass selection cons. He can occasionally play difficult passes instead of recycling possession. He will do well to bring the ball into the field, but play a difficult pass when the execution of a lot harder to perform. This is just nonsense written. Link up play pros of Nico Kuhn on this article. It says he sometimes turns his back to attract pressure, but knows he has the technical quality to perform under the pass of pressure. He also has the ability to delay his action to allow movement from his teammate. This is just... He can perform in different passes to combine like little dinks so it gets over defenders' legs. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. I think if I get... I think I should just leave this article. I think I should just leave it at that. And if Newcastle are definitely going off the back of this article to sign Nico Kuhn, fair play to them. Fair play to them. Ability in tight spaces. This is a good one. Ability in tight spaces. Nico Kuhn has a good eye for space. He's able to escape pressure by using his body, bursting past defenders. His two-footedness is outstanding and it allows him to be super effective in tight spaces. He can escape pressure and with ease and unpredictability. He can use his body manipulation to get through three opponents. What? I can't even read it. I'll post it. It's the NFUC blog. I'm going to run this through an AI checker because I think it's AI written. Shooting cons. It says when cutting inside, he can lean far back, which leads to his hitting his shots over. He can snatch at shots sometimes well, especially under a lot of pressure. Conclusion. I believe Kuhn would be a really astute signing. I don't think he's a superstar, but he has some cons to his game also. But in terms of fit and providing balance, he's one of the best I've found. Out of possession, he works really hard. He surely didn't watch the St. Johnstone game, did he? The conclusion goes on to say, finally, physically, he is showing so many promising signs to scream he's Premier League ready. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. I no wonder that's oh, tax bill. Jesus, great this time of night. Kuhn is a very talented player and has technical and physical capabilities to start for any top side six. I don't think it'll be long before you see him in the Germany squad. He's that good. He's an upgrade on Murphy, who we've already got at Newcastle. It goes on to say, finally. Uh, Kuhn is a very talented player, has technical and physical capabilities to start for a top six side. Jesus. I'm sorry if I've just had to put you through that. I really am. Well, according to that article, that would rate Kuhn at around about 25 to 30 million if you think that everything that guy who said was anyway. Irishman Sports will say so if was then is owned by the Saudis, price starts at 40 million. Yeah, exactly. God, what is one of the most bizarre scouting articles that I've read in a long time. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section before we start talking about transfers for the summer. Who's up in first? It's not showing me the start of. Lorna Gallagher was in. Dave Morton's in. Michelle Shaw is in. Paradise Found. Dave Morton. Lanky's in the house. Liam Miles in the house. Can't see him getting into the Newcastle squad. To be another Jota, Kyogo, Mattarelli if he leaves. Can't get a game. Well, that guy seems to think he's some kind of superstar that's going to be one of the top six. Celtic 2 says he doesn't think Newcastle were ambitious. Chilwell says managed to catch it alive. I'm going to jump through it. Dave McClarty's and Stephen Johnson. Kieran says we need to sign some new players this summer. If Kuhn wants away, get as much as possible for him. Leo Miles says get 199 for him. We need to spend 35 million. We need to spend 35 million and bring in 20, says Kieran. If we're going to bring in 20 million, who are we selling for that kind of money? I mean, how much money do you really think that we'll get for Nico Kuhn if he is one that's to leave this summer? Anyway, let's see how the poll's doing. There's 73 votes on the poll, and it says that some people have said that we don't need to spend anything. The squad is fine the way it is, even though Brendan Rodgers has come out and said that he thinks there's going to be massive changes in the squad this summer because you can't progress with the way that he wants. Peter King says £10 million for Kuhn. All jokes aside, 15 million says Liam. I think 15 million is probably in about the region that I think Celtic would be looking for Nico Kuhn. Rio and Kuhn, roughly 25 million for both of them, said Lanky. Who are we going to buy, says Jim. That's a chat. I don't think that even Brendan Rodgers will have a list of players, but I don't think that they'll even have it narrowed down as yet. They may do. They may pull a rabbit out the bag and start getting in players early, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, do you think that we will need to spend nothing? 3% said yes. 10 million said 4%. 20 million we need to spend thinking about going into the Champions League this summer, said 49%. 48% has just changed. And then 44% has just said depends on the players we sell. When we look at the turnaround in the squad potentially this summer, bringing Messi all day long, between 10 and 15. If Kuhn is interested from Newcastle, it would be no less than 20 million. Would we get 20 million for Kuhn? I think we probably would with the length of his contract. I think that how long is his contract? Just check. Let me just see. How length of contract has he got at Celtic. Now his current valuation is meant to be around 12 million euros on transfer market. His contract doesn't expire. Now this is where Celtic hold all the cards really. This is why if he was to be sold, it's a big if, because his contract runs to the 30th of June 2029. So, I mean, it's all just pure speculation. He hasn't played for the national team since under-20s, and last time he played for the national team, he made his debut in 2019 for them. But his valuation has went from 2.5 million euros when he joined Celtic up to 12 million euros just now. I mean, he's never really done anything at any of the clubs that he's been at. But anyway, it is what it is, and it's all just pure speculation. And it was all brought about because of a NUFC blog and a summary on Nico Kuhn. And why it was a scout report on Celtic star Nico Kuhn. Interesting. Not much. Anyway, Paul Baird says, enough of the Taylor nonsense, just get rid of him. I would give Taylor a new contract. Kieran won't play every game. I think we're just qualifying in the Champions League if we don't get the business done early, but the board won't spend till after qualifying, says David. I think that we're all in agreement that if we have any Paul, you can beat me to it. What did Paul say? If we end up spending nothing, we'll sell players knowing the board. Well, we're going to make money this summer anyway. We're going to if a certain Dutch player sold as expected this summer, we're going to earn £10 million from the sale of him. So, I mean, 10 million in the bank, the money from the Champions League, it's not as if the club's sitting in debt, is it? He's under 30, he's 20 million. Yeah, he is that, isn't he? Saw something earlier that Celtic are back in talks with Greg Taylor of a new contract. Yeah, I've been reading that all day today, that there's a possibility of a Greg Taylor U-turn. I did see that on one of the earlier videos today. And Paul Baird went into complete... And then I'm just reading, Taylor's a baller. I rate Taylor. I think the fans are 50-50 split on Taylor. Good evening, Jamesy boy, how are you? Which Dutch player has been sold? It's one that used to be at Celtic. Let's see if you can guess. He came in at Celtic for 300 grand from Manchester City. He came in from Man City for 300 grand and Celtic sold him for 10 million. Yeah, Frimpong. Del Scott got it. Frimpong. The fact that Frimpong was sold for 10 million quite quick after we got him, and he never played a lot of game time at Celtic. Frimpong never got a lot of game time at Celtic, considering we sold him for 10 million. But the fact that he's turned himself into a 30 to 50 million pound player is it shows that it's a good piece of business. Taylor is a good backup, 25k mark adds so much to the team against the Scottish low block. I'll tell you one thing, if Celtic do make a deal with them, what does that say to young Matthew Anderson and some of the younger players at the club? Because their chances... Paul Baird will go mental, Baz. I'm just waiting on Paul calming down to post, get Taylor to Yep, oh my days, Frimpong. That was the best thing he used to say, wasn't it? Oh my days, oh my days. Just a young lad when he was at Celtic. Taylor. You're all sleeping about Papa. What? Oh dear. Right, anyway, how much money do we realistically think that Celtic, if Taylor signs a new deal, Paul Beard will go into meltdown? Baz, would you keep Taylor? Yes, but he wouldn't get a game in the Champions League for me. And I think that I'm not too sure actually, because when you're bringing in Kieran Tierney, you're not going to play the same system. Kieran Tierney can't cut inside the way he does. Kieran Tierney is a good old-fashioned wing back. Do you know what I mean? I've spoken about this before. When I think about a good wing back and a good midfielder, I think about Donnelly and McNamara. And the way that Donnelly and McNamara were in tune with each other. Kieran Tierney can do that with a winger or a midfield player. And it's going to be interesting to see if Brendan will change the way that he plays. He's going to have to, because Kieran Tierney doesn't do this cutting inside. Heard rumours of a loan approaching Celtic for Andy Robertson later this year. He wants to come to Celtic, sign a pre-contract with Celtic in January. That's the whispers, says Kaiser. Andy Robertson to come to Celtic? But he plays in the same position as Kieran Tierney. So if that's going to be the case, Greg Taylor, Paul Baird, if Brendan resigns, Taylor should be pushed out the door. Oh, God. Lots of room for both Greg Taylor and Kieran Tierney, but then Kaiser's just said Andy Robertson could come to Celtic, who plays in the same position. So, where does Greg Taylor then play? And does Andy Robertson only want to come to Celtic because he's coming to the end of his career at Liverpool? I don't know. Should we look at moving Taylor into the middle, number 6 position, the way that Jackie Mack was in later years? KT could play left centre back. Get Bain. KT is a fit left centre back. I'm not too sure about changing Kieran Tierney's position like that to a centre back. We need a striker. We've got 3 strikers allegedly at the club, but I think that the whole striker situation, it needs more than addressed when it comes to just. It's game time when it comes to with a striker, and I don't see how you could keep on. I mean, I know that you have the rotation, but playing a striker for 30 minutes, getting Adam Ida 30 minutes game time, although it keeps him ticking along, and he can be a good impact player, I don't think it does anything for his confidence long term. And I think we've seen that this season. The fact that fucking got Kieran Tierney on the brain now. The fact that Kyogo Furuhashi was going through a horrendous run at one point, horrendous run of form. He couldn't put a nappy on a baby if he tried, and Adam Ida just wasn't getting the game time, wasn't getting on to try and show that he could put the ball in the back of the net. Then comes in Dyson Maeda. He gets his chance, and then the manager turns it up, changes it about, and brings in Dyson Maeda, who is a complete machine. And I just think that it's not helped Adam Ida's confidence. We'll need to sign a Scottish player, said Paul Weird, and he just Robertson is eligible for his buzz pass next year. Yeah, Taylor's too small for centre mid. I would like Ayer back. I'm not too sure about bringing Ayer back. The Bricky gets a game for Goatland. Why not Taylor? Because you've got Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney in that same position. So when you've got those two in that position, Greg Taylor's not going to get in front of any of the two. So anyway, I think Greg Taylor is good having the squad in the dressing room. Pissed myself the time he told Morelos to fuck off, fat boy. And Kyogo giggling like schoolboys when they scalp the Huns. It shouldn't matter as long as the cash is well spent. But we still need a striker, says Kieran. We do need a striker. But should Johnny Kenny be given his chance? Daniel Cummins. Do you know, we've lost a few young strikers from the B team, and I think is consistently going out and have to buy strikers to prove that they can do it. It's not giving youth experience. Make Kyogo an offer, not a chance. Why would you make Kyogo an offer rather than bring in Johnny Kenny, who the manager says is absolutely on fire for 25 yards out, the best striker of the ball, who is younger, who you've got the potential to go and be better than Kyogo. You know, I think this, all because of Jota coming back, we seem to be going down this narrative now, and because Kieran Tierney coming back, it seems to be like, it's okay to bring players back, and it's something that we've never done before. We've always kind of looked forward as a club, and we've always either brought players through or brought people into the team that were younger that actually went on to be better than the predecessors. So I'm not too sure. Bringing Kyogo back, I don't think that would be a great move for Celtic, to be honest. Not at his age, and the fact he wanted away, and the fact that you could say that Kyogo down tools. He was in a huff, and that's why he was so bad. Don't know. So anyway, Lindsay says, sorry if I've not said hi. I'm out tonight at a concert in Nottingham and a wee bit pissed. If you're out at a concert, why are you doing on this? Yes. Once the league's done and dusted, youth will get a chance. And then Paul deleted his message. I would prefer to give French Eddie a chance than Kyogo. Younger and better records, but not for me. I wouldn't take any of them back, to be fair, because I don't think that's taking Celtic any further forward. I don't think that it's going to make us better in the Champions League. Paul Baird's in the house. Brendan Rodgers talks about giving youth a chance, but in reality, it doesn't. It doesn't, Paul. And I'm completely agree with you with that. As soon as the league is won, and if it is against Dundee United, he's not going to bring in youth for the Rangers game. So then he's then got 3 games to give youth a chance. That's not enough time. That's not enough time to give youth a chance at all, is it? 3 games at the end of the season, and it'll be 10-15 minutes. That's not enough time to see how good a player is under pressure. Considering you're going to have a game against Aberdeen, you're going to have a game against Hibernian, and then again against St Mirren. And they've all got something to fight for. They've all got places to fight for. So there's not going to be any easy game. Now, if Brendan Rodgers makes all those changes, and say he brings in 3 youth players for those 3 games into the first team squad, and he loses the 3 games, and people say, it was a dead rubber game. And then it gets to the stage that fans are walking out early because we're maybe getting beat 2-1 or something. And because we've put in the youth players to give them a chance, but they're not up to the pace of the first team action because they've not been playing. It's a hard one, but I don't think that 3 games at the end of the season is enough time to give any of the youth a chance at Celtic. We got Kyogo's best years. Nowadays he's a yard slower. Yeah, I think so. James McCarthy's a free agent. Has James McCarthy not just come out and said that he's retired completely? Rather than saying he's a free agent. Is he a free agent? I deleted the post because of my type mistake. Oh, there you go, Paul. Who's got strength in our midfield? Who's got strength in our midfield? Why waste 20 million on improving Barrafield when we don't even play the youngsters? No wonder the majority of them are leaving, says Lanky. Yep. I'm in agreement with that one. I think that the Butland's going cheap. We could use him as a third choice keeper, Butland, couldn't we? Just to annoy them. Celtic are going to have a lot of pressure on them in the next 2 seasons and not because Brendan Rodgers will be trying to get the first team to perform in the Champions League, but when you spend 20 million on a complex, you want to start seeing your return on your investment from that in the name of youth players. You know, there's no use building this fantastic training centre for the men and the women, for both them, if you're not getting the women team winning the league and, you know, everything that goes along with that. But then the youth system needs to be banging out younger players to the first team. It needs to be getting players that are ready to get promoted into the first team, and I just don't think it's anywhere near that as yet. I think it's probably went backwards. Danny says Kyogo's coming back to us. Oh, Jesus. I see for the semi-final, St Johnstone, I would play the same team as weekend. I think there may be... Do you think that he'll start with Adam Ida up front? Do you think that he'll start with Adam Ida up front at Hampden? Nah, he's not going to. I think there's more chance that Jota will start. Nico Kuhn might get left out, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe we'll talk about that another night because it's only Monday. Why am I hearing about Callum Wilson wanting to come to Celtic? Brendan knows him, but he's a Raspberry Ripple for 6 months a year. Oh, jeez. Oh, Butterfingers, thank you. Ida for presents. Adam Ida for presents. I think that Brendan Rodgers will want to go out and hit them fast. So you're maybe right. He maybe will play Adam Ida through the middle. Play Adam Ida through the middle and then play Dyson on the wing. Which is unfortunate then, because you're not going to get any of the younger guys on the bench. Anyway, how's this poll doing? Because I am going to finish up shortly. 125 votes. I did ask, how much do you think Celtic will need to spend this summer? Nothing. The squad is fine, 2%. 10 million says 6%. 20 million says 51%, and depends on the players that we sell, 40%. Meaning that if we sell a midfielder, we'll need to bring a midfielder in. I wonder what we need to spend to make the squad better, since Brendan Rodgers says that he wants to make the squad better. Leave Taylor out for the semi-final. I think that I'm not too sure about that, Paul, actually. I'm not too sure about that. I don't think Brendan will, because I think Jeffrey Sloop is a little bit overrated, and Jeffrey Sloop was hauled off at St Johnstone. Him and Kuhn were hauled off the pitch at half time, and it's very rarely does Brendan Rodgers haul players off at half time. You've got to be having a really bad game for Brendan Rodgers to go, "Used to were fucking rank rotten, don't even go back out in the park." And you've got to remember how fuming Brendan Rodgers was up in Perth when he came out 5 minutes before the rest of the team. He came out, he went in, he said, you're punted, you get on, fucking get your finger out, and it never worked. But anyway, who will play at the back with CCV at Hampden? Who will play with CCV at the back? I think Trusty will be brought back in. Trusty will be brought back in because we all know that he had a baby, and that's why he wasn't there. Place Scales in Taylor's place. Would you place Scales in Taylor's place? Adam Ida saying this is his best season in his career. Only worries me more, to be honest. Even if we paid $3 million for him, he'd be worthy of criticism. He's nowhere near our standard. Half-time subs are a bit telling, yeah, they are that. Jimmy Carter says, surely we can't buy guys that are just about finished. We can't waste money on guys who are just wanting a few bob. Guys like Ian Wright, Roy Keane, waste of wages. Jeffrey Sloop would come under that for me as well. I think at 32, Jeffrey Sloop, he can't bring anything to Celtic that a younger player could bring. You know, and it's okay saying that you're going to get him for nothing, but if it's going to cost you an over exuberant amount of wages to keep him at Celtic, I just don't. I think that Celtic would be better going out and spending. In fact, Celtic would be better just going and getting a left back from the academy and bringing them through. We did it before with Kieran Tierney. And Kieran Tierney kept Azagiri out. So it has been done. Taylor in Hitate's place says, Richard, that's a new one. Guy Rocky, a wee run. I don't think we've ever seen him have a bad game. Seems to be that there must be something that if he plays a certain amount of games, he's a bonus kicks in or something. It has to be. I don't know. Typhoon McFluster says, Baz, I thought Hitate had a better game with Scales in the team. I don't think that was down to Scales, to be honest, because Scales was that far back in the first half and Hitate was that far forward. I don't think that Scales had anything to do with it. I think that it was just Hitate was in the mood, was completely in the mood and decided, you know what, I'm going to show what I can do. And I think that comes down to Brendan Rodgers and whatever he said to him. Every summer we should spend 25 million minimum, says Square Sausage Mick. Paul says, Adam Ida needs a good pre-season. Hopefully next season he'll improve. Yeah, you've got to remember that as well. Adam Ida never played a lot of football pre-season because he fell out with Norwich. He never turned up to a game in France, remember. He didn't travel with the team. And he got to the pre-season camp. I think it was in France, wasn't it? He got to pre-season camp a day later than everyone, which people thought was just the fact that the transfer was about to go through. And then they kind of kept him on the bench. They never used him. So he didn't get a pre-season in at all. Sloop has played 5 decent games, then fell off a cliff. Yeah, I think anybody could have came in and when you've not played and you come to a club like Celtic, you can get that little boost that sometimes players get when a manager leaves. But I'm not buying into it either. He needs a good pre-season. He's had all season to get up to speed. Square Sausage Mick, but he's not really had the game time, has he? Ida trains every day, Baz. Yeah, he does train every day, but when it comes down to strikers that are a different breed to somebody in the midfield, they've got to get the... Lanky said it in one of the other videos. When you look at the balls that come in from the wing when Kyogo was in the middle, I wonder what the ratio was compared to when Adam Ida was in the middle. He doesn't really get the same supply as what Kyogo does, or did. And he definitely doesn't get the same supply as what Adam Ida, Jesus, which Dyson Maida gets. Katie will be brilliant for us. We need to manage his game time. That's why Greg Taylor should stay. But if he does stay, what does it say to the younger guys in the squad? Because it means that the possibility of them getting some game time has decreased even more. And after 2 seasons being out on loan, I think Matthew Anderson is it that's out on loan to Admiral Wacker in Austria. 2 seasons after being out on loan to them, you would think that you've done... Brendan Rodgers has spoken about players going out and getting their football education before coming back into the first team. Where do you see players that have been out and have their football education coming back into the first team? I mean, the goalkeeper that's at Dunfermline, I don't know if he's getting any game time just now. Can he come back in and get some third choice keeper? I don't know. When he drops, he should turn and run. He runs into channels when he should be in the middle, holding the ball up. There's not many strikers that hold the ball up in the middle, though, is there? I mean, you're talking... I think the last one that was really good at holding the ball up in the middle would probably have been Sutton. Don't know, laying the ball off to either Hartson or Henrik Larsson. Delia Smith is rubbing the dough after the sale of Ida. Yep. Ida is a good squad player, but was never worth 8 million. I think we all know that, and it's you know, even Brendan Rodgers isn't overly worried about the price that we paid for him because it's what he brings to the squad. We've scored 5 at the weekend. Ida none. Oh, there's a lot of hate for Adam Ida tonight, isn't there? Yes. I would agree with Lanky. We do not play to Adam Ida's strength, therefore looks as if he's not doing much in the game. Yeah, I think so as well. Finally, we agree on something, Joe. Forrest to start every game. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Um, James Forrest needs to start every game between now and the end of the season. Yeah, there you go. Lanky says, what's happened with Anderson now? Big Chris Iyer done the same thing, went out on loan for nearly 2 years, came back and made a name for himself. This summer is a big summer for young Matthew Anderson. And I think that if he can't, if he's not going to be allowed to rejoin the Celtic first team, I think that he'll be getting sold. I mean, I don't even know what length of contract that he's got. Let me just go back. There we go. Born in Blantyre, Scottish left back, Matthew Anderson. Allegedly, his contract runs out in June. So there you go. According to Transfer Market, Matthew Anderson's contract, now he could play at left back, he could play at right back, and he can play at left midfield. And according to this, his contract runs out at the end of June. So that could be another one that we're losing for absolutely nothing. He's been out on loan at Admiral Wacker since 2023. So it looks like that Celtic, we got 400 grand a season for him from a loan fee, is they're going to lose out on him. Well, there you go. On loan from Celtic B team. It's obviously not rated good enough. Maybe that's why we're in the situation that we're trying to get Greg Taylor to sign a new contract. I'm just reading the comment. Square Sausage Mick. Tony Cascarino was worse. Adam Edwards couldn't score. Charts went downhill, innit? Yeah, it's not went downhill, it's went absolute madness. Anyway, we're going to finish up this poll. Been 141 votes. How much do you think Celtic need to spend this summer? Nothing. The score is fine. 3%. 10 million said 6%. 20 million said 52%. And it depends on the players we sell. 40. Well, it's just went down to 39%. If any of the young players were good enough, they'd be in the first team squad, I reckon. Jamesy boy, but who do you drop? Who do you drop at the first team to allow the younger players to get onto the bench? That's the dilemma that Brendan Rodgers had. Anyway, John Shirley says Paradise. There we go. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. 44 minutes is more than enough. I shall see you all first thing in the morning with some Celtic news update. On that note, have Andy Walker over Adam Ida. Jesus. Rodgers has made it clear he wants Taylor to stay, so the board must cough up. Square Sausage Mick gets the last comment. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans. Wherever you are, all around the world.